Welcome to Founder Therapy today. Doug and I are taking a bit of a meandering walk through AI tools, how they can be used as a founder.
Before we get into the topic of this pod, I have got, because this is now a segue, we are getting quite a lot of inbound demand for, like, a lot of our clients are asking us for AI. And it's not so much that they need like a full-time AI person on staff, but they have parts of their business that they want to automate and optimize.
Where do you think this disrupts the current people that focus on this? You know, because I guess this is human at the minute, right?
You're going to see a massive disruption with these big agencies that just have a load of junior people just trundling shit out. I think you're going to have smaller specialist agencies because you still need the relationship and the strategy, and you need someone to like check it. Do you want to see? So I'm using ChatGPT 4. I do some calorie tracking on it.
I wonder if MyFitnessPal have done anything like that, because that's all about macros and calorie counting, isn't it?
Yeah, I've used MyFitnessPal. This for MyFitnessPal is like going from a bike to like a A380 jet.
Your swear count is at 11, by the way.
You've not actually done that. Have you already done that?
Oh, you're at 11.
11's not bad for 20 minutes, one every 2 minutes. Yeah. So when I said to you today, Rich, I don't mind if we just go off a bit off piece because it's a podcast and people just want to listen to us. Well, 20 minutes of it.
12. Yeah, 12.
What? 12? What's that?
Swear count. Sugar.
Welcome to Founders Therapy Podcast with Doug and Rich. With Doug and Rich.
Richard, today we are going to look at some AI stuff, aren't we? We're going to look at founders, what they need, what they can do with AI, what they should do, and what AI can't do for them. You know shitloads about this. I'm looking forward to it. But I want to do two things first. I want you to show me the picture of that dog in a fucking bonnet.
So we are getting some plastering done because we need to smooth the wall out. And I wanted to show Doug before we came on the picture that we have on that wall.
Where did you get that?
We got this from a little antique place in central Nottingham. And I mean, who would walk past that?
How much did you pay for it?
It's not coming in. Oh, like 11 quid.
Good. Okay. No, I like
Beautiful,
it.
Isn't it?
It's legit.
Who doesn't like a really kind of semi-scaggy kind of like poodle in a bonnet?
No one. I want to tell you something. I want to tell you it's not a story. It's a small quip. But I think you'll enjoy it, and I think you relate to it, and I think other founders are going to relate to it as well. I am my own worst enemy. And what my modus operandi is, if things are just trundling along, everything's going well, hitting targets, doing well, just needs a bit of iteration, what I will tend to do, my default will be, okay, idea, new thing, like standard entrepreneur, whatever. And what I'm learning to try and do is to like channel that into new thing, which is an iteration of current thing, which is sensible because you're gradually improving. But what I've instructed Amber to do, who's been with me for now, our first hire in South Africa, who's been working with me for 5 years, who knows me well, I said, Amber, if I come to you with like shit, you need to kill it. You need to just tell me no. And she's like, yeah, okay, I understand that modus operandi. And I hit her the other day. I came at her. I was washing the dishes. I was downstairs and I was like, do you remember we set up that website, Epic Escapes? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Which is essentially a tour business. We sell tours to safaris in South Africa. Massive market, great idea, whatever. And I was doing the dishes and I just started twitching. I was like, fuck, that's such a good idea. Why are we not just gradually building that stuff? Why are we not doing that stuff? Why are we not doing that stuff? So I was like, Amber, just do me a slack. We got on it. I was like, Amber, these Epic Escapes. I know that do you not think we could just, the next 6 months, just gradually, just in the background, get this thing going? She's like, Doug, 2 weeks ago, you said to me, exact words, if I come to you with that, tell me to fuck off. You under no circumstances allow me to do that. I was like, shit, I did say that. Okay. But do you not think and she's like, no. And we settled on, I can go back to her in Q4. Anything pre-Q4 is a hard no. And I said to her, under any circumstances, no matter how hard I try and persuade you.
Yeah. I think you need these people. I mean, it's great that she's just shutting you down. And I'd love the fact that it was 2 weeks ago and you're so senile that you can't remember. That's what's brilliant. Ben's this to me, right? He's the anchor to me. You know, we originally called our podcast Bear With Me because I used to come to him with an idea and he'd just be like, you know, he'd get his dinosaur arms out and just absolutely crush it. And I wouldn't be able to get anywhere near it. But yeah, I mean, it's good because you and I are both we're quite creative thinkers and we do get a lot of joy out of imagining those ideas, which tend to be worth 10 a penny. You know, they're not necessarily worth things. Execution's everything. But I think it's good to be able to chuck something out. And it's also quite amusing when you can just see the kind of the doom fill their face when they know they've got to go and sit through 2 minutes of this internal pitch just to go and bat it away. Amber's sitting there going, here we go again. She's like, charged on her. She's ready for her day. Doug comes crawling into her life like a Bolivian tarantula, going to come with this thing. And she's like, nah, not going to have it.
She knows probably, I would guess from the tone of the Slack, that what it is and that it needs to go.
Yeah. She's switching to guns. She's run out of missiles already. She's switching to guns. She's coming for you. It's good. I like it. Don't stop believing, like Journey.
I've got, before we get into the topic of this pod, I have got, because this is now a segue, this is an actual idea that is an iteration rather than a new idea that I'm going to chat to Liv, co-founder at Marketing Pros, about today. We are getting quite a lot of inbound demand for, a lot of our clients are asking us for AI support. Can somebody come in and just help build? And it tends to be we need help with this. We're trying to build out this Notion thing, or we're trying to get this prompt done, or, we need this. And it's not so much that they need a full-time AI person on staff, but they have parts of their business that they want to automate and optimize. We have one person, we've spoken about, Donna, who is phenomenal, but she's at capacity. And I've got, I had a call yesterday with a client and they're like, we really need this done. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I know that Donna does that in half a day. And I'm like, Liv, has Donna got any time? She's like, well, no, not really. I was like, well, maybe we'll put the price up a little bit, whatever. In my mind, I'm like, okay, so we just need more Donnas. And I was like, can we not get Donna some people that she trains? And they're like junior mini Donnas. She trains them on how to do it. And then we can deploy those people into these businesses and then they can do some of the work. Donna kind of helps them. And so we have a mini team within Marketing Pros that just goes in and delivers these kind of AI projects. It's bubbling demand, Rich.
I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's basically productivity and efficiency, right? What AI is perfect for at the minute. I mean, I think in your sector, there's probably tons of people that are seeing all of these competitors or people doing things, but they don't know actually how to piece it together. And it's classic. It's a little bit of management consultancy, isn't it? Or consultancy that you need to do, not management consultancy.
Yeah, it is.
Consultancy you need to do. Yeah. I mean, do it. Get Donna to spin up a few people with inside of it. Go and meet that demand. It's great.
It's great, isn't it?
Give them the supply, yeah.
I've got a second.
To the market quickly.
I'm glad you didn't kill it. Second AI thing, interestingly, I don't think you know this. I've not told you this, but we're working quite closely with Sean now at Kua Labs. Did you know that?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know you were working closely with them. I really like what they're doing.
Yeah, because their product's really good. It's really fucking helpful. And David, we are in our agency, we're doing a lot more paid now. We've got a lot of demand for it. And that product that they have built really, really helps. And I think what I hope happens is that we're in a very, very, very early stage of this where we can have quite a good partnership, because their route to market undoubtedly is through agencies. They want to be products like HubSpot are, and HubSpot use thousands of agencies to take the product out to market and get it embedded in companies. And I think we're going to be very, very early, hopefully not too early, into this new world of V2 of these tools that go into businesses, because there's no world where you shouldn't be using AI. If you're running paid marketing campaigns and you're not using AI, you are missing a massive trick. And their software it helps at this stage. It's a great one. So I just wanted to say that's working.
Their plans
as well.
are great. Their plans are great as well. I mean, we'll link it in the description below. Kouo.
Yeah,
they're a
dodgy name. I can't even pronounce it. How do you even fucking say it?
Yeah,
I think they should change that now.
Rebrand
Change that now. So I was chatting to a
Come
guy
on, guys.
yesterday on my thing, and I was like, "Yeah, we'll use this software, Koa. Fucking say it.
Call it Alan. Call it Alan. Yeah, that's
call
what you
it
need to call it. Or Clive. Yeah. Sarah.
Anyway, great product. But I think if you're
Anyway,
ever going to
great
rebrand, do it now.
Yeah. But the interesting thing about it is what we're talking about today. What those guys have done is a classic use of applying, to a degree, off-the-shelf AI tools in a certain configuration to be able to save a problem. They've done exactly what we'll talk about today and what founders should do and what the opportunities are. And they're smashing it. They're doing good MRR. You know, they've closed their funding round. They're now going to look at scaling the product over the next 6 to 12 months. It's going to be. I'm really excited. They're lovely people as well. Also, analyzed, lovely guys.
They are selling medicine. They're not selling vitamins. If you are running paid, because what their shit does, I mean, you probably know, but just for the audience, what it does is it basically does it looks at all of the ads in your space, and it says, okay, based on your competitors and what you're trying to, the keyword you're trying to target, these are all of the ads. And then these are the best ones based on, I think, like how long they've been out. And then it spits out assets for you. So it's like, we looked at 1,000 ads. These are the ones that are performing the best. Here's your assets based on that, with some suggestions. And then it does all of the media buying for you has agents that will go into fucking Google and Meta and do the media buying for you. Mm-hmm. So you still need that strategic client relationship layer that agency provides, that what we provide. But then you've got all this power behind you. And most people aren't doing it. 99% of people running paid ads are not using this at this stage. Yeah. But they will.
And they will. And there'll be a rush on it. I mean, so Tom Labrie, who works in their team as well, he was very early in the idea generation of what they were doing. He's leading out. He's doing a bit of sales with them and stuff. He's a very experienced venture studio guy. Other people will come into the space with nuances, with this, of different ways of doing it. Because as soon as they break cover, someone's going to look at it and go, oh, we could do this with this flavor. We can do this flavor. So it's totally exciting. They're approaching it rightly. They built it correctly. Now it's a push for, let's go and build a scalable product, get that sales done, get those agency relationships in and embed it so that it's in there. And why would you change? Yeah. And then you own that. And then you ping it software as a service fee, nice multiple. See you on the golf course.
Because it will save us. So we think with a campaign that would have taken 20 hours, even with the software as it is today, it might take 10. And when
and that's today, that's ground zero for that product.
That's ground zero.
Where it's going to be in 6 months once they really build it out and really, focus on what is this product going to become. They'll bring that down in a few hours. It's going to. I mean, I don't know. Where do you think this disrupts the current people that focus on this? Because I guess this is human at the minute, right? I don't know much about this space, but I guess this is human. This media buying is human. The understanding of what paid ads you need to create is human. They'll do their mapping, but I bet you they charge $20,000 to map the market.
The way that agencies are going to change, in my opinion, is that you're going to see a massive disruption of these big agencies that just have a load of junior people just trundling shit out. I think you're going to have smaller specialist agencies because you still need the relationship and the strategy, and you need someone to check it. But 90% of the technical stuff, the media buying, the looking at ads, the creating ads, all of that's going to be automated. So it will all boil down to strategic decisions and, building tech stacks. So I think there will be less people working in paid media, but I think it will fragment the market. There'll be smaller, very specialist agencies because you won't be able to deliver, because there'll be AI. There'll be so many of these tools across different industries, different platforms, that these small agencies will use specific AI tech stacks to be really good. So any big agency that's just paying people $100 an hour to just look at ads, that won't exist. No way. Do you want to see? So I'm using ChatGPT for my. So I do two things, right? I do some calorie tracking on it. So it gives me macro targets every day, and then as I go through the day and I tell it what I've eaten, it's cool, this is how you're doing versus target. And then at the end of the day, it gives me a score, and it also gives me suggestions on what I could have during the day.
I wonder if MyFitnessPal have done anything like that, because that's all about macros and calorie counting, isn't it?
Yeah, this
the
I've
foods
used
that
my
you're doing.
Fitness Pal. This for my Fitness Pal is like going from a bike with like flat tires to like a A380 jet.
Well,
Like
let's build this, Doug. We could build that in 3 days using some POC stuff that we're going to talk through.
I know that's the bit that is wild. Listen to this.
But is there anything in the market that's doing this? Why don't we just seriously build this with AI?
No.
I think we could do this in a week and a half.
Yeah, I know, and it's like, right, you'll love this. So it tracks my macros. So it says this is based on your fitness goals, your weight, your age, all the shit you're doing. This is how many calories you should have per day across these macros. And then as I'm going through the day, I just talk into the thing, and then it just adds it up. But then it makes suggestions. It's like, right, cool, you need a bit more protein, whatever. And then at the end of the day, it gives me a score. It goes, cool, today, Doug, final score, 9 out of 10. Why? It's excellent. Protein goal smashed, 174 grams. Refined sugar right on target, even with your dessert. Carbs and calories perfectly aligned with
Even with your 500 gram Asda truffle triple layer bit of brandy in it, even with your dessert eaten with a spoon straight out of the plastic container. Welcome to doughaines, everybody.
carbs and calories perfectly aligned with activity level. You enter the day strong with real food, no junk filler, only minor notes. Fat and sat fat are high, but not crazy high. Natural sugar is elevated again, but all from fruit, dairy, and smart fuel. And then I've got my little table here of like all my macros, actual versus target. And then it's giving me little tips during the day. I'll say to it, I'm thinking about having this for lunch. Can you give me a suggestion? And it will just be like, yeah, don't maybe like add a bit of protein here. Because what I've learned a hell of a lot doing this. The hardest thing I thought was sugar, but actually it's saturated fat. You only really should have 20 grams of sat fat a day, and you can easily blast over that. One Greg's pasty, you're done. You're over it, right? Protein is very hard to hit. If you're doing any kind of exercise, I'm not doing crazy stuff. I'm doing an hour a day or whatever. You've got to be doing 175 grams of protein. That's really quite hard to get to. So it's got me on shit like
it's a couple of chicken. It's a chicken breast, isn't it?
Way more than that. One chicken breast might be 45. So it's hard.
Wow. So you really are. Yeah. Okay.
It's hard to get there. A lot of people use like supplements and that kind of stuff. But what I've started using that's really good, egg whites. So it's got me. It's educated me.
Lindsay uses egg white. Lindsay went through, but she still does. She buys the 2 chicks egg whites, right? Yeah. Straight in with peppers and all the rest of it. And she has an omelette like that every single day and has done for 3 years.
And that shit
I'm like, are you not bored? It's my kind of thing. As I plow into my fruit and fiber by Kellogg's.
Fruit and fiber, which is a fucking refined sugar.
No, I don't actually. I fast until 12:30 every day. I don't eat breakfast.
Do you want to say something?
I'm going to say we're meant to be talking about AI.
Do you like how we have literally started with our Achilles heel is just coming out with fucking random ideas and just going off piste, and we've ended with we're going to launch a fucking calorie.
Only when you have spoken to GPT and said, you know what I do with you every single day? Is there anything out in the market that's currently doing this? That's what you need to do.
And there is not.
Okay.
I've looked. Well, there's nothing.
You don't need to look. Get your little merry friend to go and do a bit of research and say, please do an extensive search for this, please. Because me and my idiot mate are thinking about doing a little bit of an AI project to do what we talk about today.
Because I did
to see if we could.
I did speak to
sell it for $2.99 a month.
Yeah, exactly. So I did speak to it. It thinks to test the market, we need to do it like manually first. And I was like, go on, basically have 10 people that do it. You don't even think that. You think just build the.
I would be straight into V0 and I would have the front end done within an hour and a half.
Could you do it, or would you grab?
No, I would do it. I could do it.
Okay. Well,
I mean, I'd get one of our engineers to go, how's this rat's nest look? Does it function or not? But yeah, I think we should. Oh, if you can show to me like different models, maybe deep research would be good. If you can show to me
Gemini.
GPT deep research, just saying there is not something out there that is a simple web application where I can talk to this agentic workflow and it can track what I'm doing, we will build it.
Yeah, because the tool would be this, Rich. All you have to do at the start is you just have to give it your age, gender, weight, activity level. And then you give it like goals. Are you looking to maintain weight? Blah, blah, blah. Lose weight, whatever it is. And I think we would probably aim it at a particular niche. probably to start with. Maybe it'd be weight loss. I don't know. And then all you do is once you've got that, it then goes, it comes up with your target weekly thing. And then it just, cool, so these are your macros. And then you just say into the thing, cool, I've had this for breakfast, blah, blah, blah. And then it just tracks, you do it as a weekly basis. It tracks it every week. And then at the end of the day, it gives you like a little report. Like you don't even need to have the function where they ask it questions about recipes and stuff. It really just that daily, you've got 6 out of 10 today. Maybe it gives them a couple of prompts, one at 2, maybe one at midday and one at 5 that are like you're a little bit over, think about this. It already can do that. It knows that shit.
Yeah, because we'd use something like Landgraph probably or some OpenAI thing. We could figure it out. I think it'd be a good thing to do.
It would be a great project for this pod, because what is interesting about this pod is that AI stuff does the best, which is why we are talking about this today. And let's get on to that. We are 19 minutes in. So when I said to you today, Rich, I don't mind if we just go off a bit off piece because it's a podcast and people just want to listen to us. Well, that's 20 minutes of it.
And we lost them at 36 seconds.
So no one's now listening to this.
Your swear count is at 11, by the way.
You've not actually done that. Have you already done that?
Oh, you're at 11.
11's not bad for 20 minutes. One every 2 minutes is not bad.
So let me frame this part of the conversation. Obviously, we're going to be talking about AI. We're going to be talking about it from the founder perspective, like what founders should be doing, could be doing, shouldn't be doing, what they can expect, what they can't expect, just so that they could be very even keel and go into this with an open mind. I had a really interesting conversation with a friend of ours who we invested in his business 5 years ago, a business called Olivia, which was in the real estate space, so estate agents. So him and his business partner have started to build AI tools, so AI products or products with AI. Like within 7 weeks, they have got solid monthly recurring revenue across 7 ideas. That is wild.
When you say do you mean 7 separate ideas? 7
separate mini products. Not all of them in market, 3 are in market, and they are generating revenue. And I mean like 5-figure revenue monthly.
What? Give me an example of a product, can you?
Can I? Yeah, I think I can tell you. So he has built a VPN that sits on a console, like a PlayStation, for Call of Duty players or people that play online, where you can select which country you are in so that you can join different games around the world. Super niche. And these people are paying him to get access to his VPN. So that's a fine example. This is a group of entrepreneurs, growth entrepreneurs, 3 people in this organization, and they have got countless ideas. And their goal is to get to 2 million in ARR. Sorry.
Do you know what the problem is with this, Rich? The real problem of you telling me this?
You want to do it?
Yeah. Just get really excited. I'm excited.
You're going to sit in your kitchen, aren't you? Just bouncing around, getting onto Amber.
Just
and Amber's
literally twitching. My legs twitching. So I'm so excited about this kind of stuff.
Well, so am I. And I've got a group with Tom Labrie, the guy that Sean and Elias work with. He's the ideas guy that I throw things at, and you, to be fair. I share both of them to you. And we have this particular channel now that is dedicated simply to products that can be spun up quickly in AI, because they're getting lost in all of the conversation.
So
we've got 7 ideas.
2 things happened today then. And then what are you doing tonight? Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you out. I'm just saying, like, are you around?
Pick me up at 7 in your Nissan Pulsar.
I've upgraded. Lindsay made me upgrade. We've got a Nissan Qashqai now. We've fucking big league. Always,
watch out, the X Trail's next.
Always going to be always going to be Nissan, because I can't be to like change dealer
12.
now.
Yeah, 12.
What? 12? What's that?
Swear count.
Sugar. What was I going to say? So 2 things today. I will speak to my boy here about if anything exists for the calorie counting thing. You tell old Tom Labrie, tell him that. Tell him my mate does calorie counting. It's changed his life. He's lean. He's a killer now. And he, and then see what he thinks. And then we'll retouch base at 7. Won't we?
Okay.
We'll touch at 7 and then...
Ding dong.
Yeah. Just on a... We don't need to speak. We're just a voicey. And then we'll work out what if there's a step there. Because I think there is. This thing has changed my life. In food-wise, no doubt.
Absolutely. And one thing we should do a podcast on is the is the next version of our 0 to 1 offering that we're going to do. I'm not going to call it 0 to 1 because I think people are traumatized from last year in the company. But this is exactly what we're talking about. How do we industrialize what we're talking about for founders that maybe don't want to go and learn all the AI tools, but we can get them going in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, very, very cheaply because we're going to use these tools. So another podcast topic.
What I think we need to do,
one.
is I feel like we have meandered the viewer in a nice way. They may be still here, but what are we talking about again? We're talking about AI. You're a founder. What AI shit can AI do for you? What can it do for you? What should you be thinking about? And you've got some stuff. Is that right?
So, yeah, I mean, absolutely. So we can start, I think we should start on what it can and can't do and what you should expect. I think those three things are a good thing. So what it can do, tools like Lovable, V0, all of these kind of Cursor to a degree, these are tools that allow you to go and build front ends, front ends of a website. So things that you can see. They also allow you to connect into back ends like databases or sign-on systems. So you can start to build very, sometimes simplistic, sometimes a bit more complex than they need to be, tools completely without engineering capability. You are prompting your way through this, right? Now, the problem comes is the AI is going to do what you prompt. So when you say, I'm going to go and create a calorie counting, macro counting calculator that remembers what I've got, gives me motivational things every 2 hours and does that, it will go read that verbatim and go to work. 20 minutes later, you're going to have your thing built. But the problem is, if you don't get your product requirement documentation, what we call a PRD, correct, where you're saying, this is the objective, this is the solution, this is the data I want to kind of use and store, this is the way that I want it to look and feel, these are comparable look and feel websites, etc. If you don't do that planning and give it as much information up front, it's going to construct that first version with that poor prompt, and then you're going to have to edit it, and it's going to then modify it and modify it and modify it, and it's going to become what I call internally a rat's nest.
Can I just say something on that? Like, I even experienced that in very light touch things, like my calorie counting thing. Like, it very easily gets confused. Like, so for example, I'll say, cool, if I have this for lunch, what will how will that look for the rest of my day? And then sometimes it will go, cool, if you have this for lunch, blah, blah, blah. But then it will think that I've actually had that. And then it will add that on. And then I have to go in and say, no, I haven't actually had this. That was just me asking you what it would be. And then it will get confused, and then it will go back to a future edition. So you just got to be very careful with the type of shit you put into it.
Yeah. And this is why prompt engineering is becoming a thing. And I think if you can write a good product requirements document, and there's loads of stuff online about that. Chat PRD is a great example of what it will do. If you can plan, you will get fairly far down the path with building some form of product that could be launchable. You've got to hack around a little bit to figure out how to do things. You've got to learn. You've got to be able to be technically curious to be able to make this work. But the barrier to entry compared to what it was before 2022, unreal like level. But you've got to be technically curious. You've got to be like, I know what I want to build here, and I'm going to understand what data I need to put in there. I'm going to understand what a PRD is. I'm going to understand how this is being put together. If you're technically curious, like Sean is, like when Elias did engineering, so he's a bit different. But these guys are technically curious. The two guys that are running the venture studio, they're not techie guys. They're technically curious, and they break stuff and they figure stuff out. If you do that and you take many runs at it, I took 6 runs at my first V0 project before it worked. 6.
What was your first project? What was that?
It was an availability tracker against calendars in Google. It was something very simple that I wanted to check out if I could do. And it linked into Supabase for storing things. It linked into the Google API, and it did OpenAI searching online. So it's fairly more complex than most what some people will do. And I ended up building that one in about 3 hours, the 6th version. But I failed many times before that. And I realized I failed in the main because my prompting was not strong enough. I didn't do the prep before. But then I was technically curious to understand what that all means. And plus, I used to do computing, right? I've got enough about me, and I run a tech company. I've got enough about me to be able to know about it. So there's that. I think that is the biggest thing that I would say people need to understand. Curiosity. You're going to have to learn this stuff, and you've got to prepare. Some things that you can't expect it to do. You can't expect it to architect. It's not going to be a scalable system. This is a POC for most people. This is, I'm going to go and test whether anyone gives a swear word shit about your calorie counter. If people give a shit about your calorie counter, then we'll think about how to make it scalable so that it can have 15,000 people on it. But it won't be scalable out the gate. So, because it doesn't have that holistic judgment of an engineer, of a senior engineer, it just doesn't. A lot of if you're doing anything in ChatGPT or even potentially even V0 or Lovable, a lot of the components are written in isolation or can be written in isolation, which means they often don't interact or think in a systematic way. So when people put GPT stuff, you're truly hacking stuff together. And it's duct taped, in some cases. And I think one thing that I was chatting to, this is the last piece on it from me, and give me your thoughts. I was talking to the venture studio founders about this. I was like, AI is going to accelerate the amount of products in market. Like, there's going to be mass saturation. Now, what that means is it can accelerate a bad idea as well as a good idea. So there's going to be a lot of bad ideas that people are sinking their time into to validate. And so you still need to approach this. This is a POC. I'm trying to validate this as a business, rather than I'm just going to get my product out there and it's going to sing.
I think, I think that it doesn't really change the job of a founder, which is, is this got product? Do people want this, and is this commercially viable? Let me just give you an example that you made me think of. So, the AI is better at some things than others. What it is so good at, right? So I go and do a little spin class. So I go, it's really unbelievable, by the way. Anyone that doesn't do it, it's phenomenal. I think they need to rebrand it for spin. It gives the impression of it feels very female, doesn't it? A spin class.
Nothing wrong with that, by the way, listeners.
No, of course, nothing wrong with that. But I feel like they could have, something that attracts men to it as well. Do you know what I mean? Because I went to spin and I was like, it just doesn't feel very macho, does it? Feel macho to you? On your little bike? Your lycra? No, it doesn't. But it is it is an incredibly hard, good workout. So they maybe need to change it to instead of spinning, go grinding. Which I understand would have
brilliant. Fantastic. I mean, everything about this, Calvin, needs to be cut. Yeah. Everything about this needs to be cut 100%.
Get it in.
No, don't. I do not advocate anything that Doug's just said.
The Kaiser. So what I did is...
Oh, brilliant. We're going to the Kaiser now.
So what I do is I give ChatGPT a picture of the bike, and I did a spin session on this bike, and then I give it all of I memorize as I'm doing it, the different levels, the speeds, the timings, and all of that. I put it in. And then I said, cool, can you just give me a session summary? And I've given it the distance, and then it goes, cool, intensity and structure rating, 8.5 out of 10, positive. Nice blend of steady cadence work and out of the saddle intervals, good fit engaging glutes and hamstrings post-match. It knows I played football last night. Use of cadence variation, great aerobic benefits without overloading your legs. Gear manipulation shows solid control of resistance, ideal for building muscular endurance. Areas to optimize further if needed. You could track watts.
You need to have a look at this business we just started working with called Athlia.ai. That's all I'll say. Have a look at it. We can put them in the description. Athlia.ai. They're very close to launch.
Okay, Athlia. Yeah, let's put that in. Listen to this overall. If you're coming off of football, because this was my post-football the morning after. I played at 8 o'clock. I'm doing this thing within 12 hours. If you're coming off a football session and want active recovery, this session is effective. If you're targeting aerobic conditioning, it's also spot on. If you wanted a true flush ride, pure zone 1, you need to ease back on the resistance and cadence spikes. You're just too dominant and powerful. Let me know your goal was, and then I can tune a version up or down based on that. It also was amazing. Sorry, I'm going off on one here. Second thing, also it's a phenomenal. So I go and see a specialist who got some weird liver thing. Nothing crazily serious, but I need to go and see this guy every 6 months. He just does some bloods, checks it. And so what I did is I got ChatGPT. I was like, cool, this is the condition I've got. I just chatted to the doctor. This is what he said. And it just turned it into a pretty detailed summary of the session. It's it took my kind of vomit of the call. I was just literally standing outside the hospital talking into it. And it's cool, this is a summary of your meeting with that doctor. Phenomenal. It really broke it into so it's great at that stuff.
It's great role playing. Definitely great role playing.
And producing assets that help you go, cool, okay, I've got a record of that now, or I can improve that now. Anyway, sorry, that is potentially a total tangent.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should draw it to a close. We're at over time, and there's plenty in there. But I think the takeaways and the close, if you will, is that it's an incredible enabler in the product development space. There are tools out there coming, advancing every single day. We use V0, we use Cursor, we use Lovable. Tessel is another one that's coming through that I think has got a better approach than these other ones. Actually, I think Tessel will be the one to watch in 6 to 8 months. What it isn't going to do is to create a scalable product at the moment. Make sure that when you go into using it, you've got your PRD, your product requirement document, really well laid out, and think systematically about how you're going to talk to this. How are you briefing the AI to build it? The more you do up front, the better the product you're going to get out the back of it, and the more stable it's going to be, because every single change that you make gets a little bit trickier and a little more rat's nesty. And I think those are the key takeaways.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, I don't think the founder's role has changed. I think the founder's role is just giving people what they want in a way that you can make some money. And these automations are just a way of helping you do that, aren't they, Rich? Do you want to do the outro this week? I think you should do an outro about marketing pros. We've done 2 Mahara ones in a row.
Yeah. We have. So when Doug does his outros, he likes to say what if you need something, this is what you're going to get. And I think this is a key thing that what Doug's business does with Liv is that in a world where more product and more services are going to hit the market, being discovered, being understood, having your brand positioned correctly is going to become more and more important. And I genuinely believe that. Therefore, more competition, more things out there, you've got to cut through it. And to be able to do that, I do think a career of the future will be marketing strategy and marketing deployment with all of these tools. Doug happens to be in a wonderful position to be tapped into a great market in South Africa with wonderful people down there who are being trained to use these tools, think in this way, and to make sure that they can be fantastic assets in your business. So I think you need somebody for marketing. Doug's your man.
Marketing Pros, marketingpros.co. Thank you, Richard. I shall see you next week.
All right. Cheers, Doug. Bye.